Welcome back, friends, to the homestead. I'm proud to announce today's video is brought to you by DJI. Welcome back, friends, to the homestead on this chilly June day. I know it's hard to believe, but that's why I live here in the mountains, because I don't like the heat. We're almost July 4th and we're still in fleece and long underwear. So I've got a special surprise for you guys today. We're going to be in the forest and I'm going to show you, we have a potentially dangerous situation that you may come across, and I'll show you a safe and easy way to take care of that. I've got all the tools loaded up in the quad. We'll head up there, but before we go up there, I want to show you, give you a quick tour of a portion of the forest you've probably never seen before that Mrs. W and I just got done clearing. We've been working like crazy people around here, trying to get everything ready for summer, and I think you might enjoy it. It really turned out well. So come on, join us. We'll head on through the new cleared area, and then we'll get over there and take care of that problem. I'm going to assume that Elderberry Bridge can take the weight of the Honda. It's not any too wide, is it? This is that dangerous situation I was alluding to. When you get a tree like this, it's a hanger. This is a really hazardous and kind of scary situation, especially when you get into the big trees. But you can simply deal with it using nothing more than a log and a strap. Let me show you the tools that we'll use for this, and we'll go about taking this down in a way that nobody gets hurt. This poor grand fir here is one of 12 that I lost in this winter. There's some sort of a bug or a beetle coming through that's really hard on the grand firs. We haven't lost any Dougs, we haven't lost any ponderosas, but the grands are really taking a beating. They just rot really quickly from the inside, and then when the wind comes up in the spring, it knocks them over. It's kind of spooky when you're out here. That's why I try to take these things down so they don't fall on someone. To put this hanger on the ground safely, we're going to need a couple things here, and something you should probably have in your kit is a good tree strap, a tow strap. I have the ones that are single that have loops sewn in the end, but the one that seems to be the most versatile is just a continuous loop like here, about 12 feet long. I use it and grab it for all sorts of things. Really nice if you need to pull on trees because of its softness. It doesn't damage the tree. Now, if you have a PV works really great as well. If not, you can use a big chunk of log here.
You look busy. What are you doing?
I told Jack not to worry about making me any breakfast. Did you make, what is this?
It's a breakfast burrito and some orange juice.
You are the sweetest thing ever.
Some extra salt.
Oh, perfect. So I think I will.
I love you.
All right, I'll see you down in a few.
Be safe.
I am.
I'm gonna check on you, make sure you're
We're
okay.
always all about safety here.
I know. I love you.
Who am I to cut down a tree without having a good fortified breakfast, huh? I'll tell you guys what, not one of you is going to find a better woman to marry than Mrs. W. Maybe just as good, but certainly not better. She makes the best breakfast burritos. I'll tell you how to make one properly. First off, you need good, fresh squeezed orange juice. That's key. Homemade tortillas, eggs from our chickens, Hickory Farm sausage, homemade hash browns. Look at this. Eat your heart out. And Hickory Farm sausage. The cheese is critical. You got to have Oregon Tillamook white, extra sharp. So sharp that it cuts your tongue. You put those 4 things together, one of the pleasures of life. I've been flying DJI drones from the very beginning. From my Phantoms to the Phantom Pros, I've had Mavic, Mavic Pros, Mavic Airs. I've got to say, of all of them, this Mavic Mini is my favorite. I've personally flown and owned every DJI drone in the lineup. Not only is it easy to fly, it's just simple. It's not overly complicated with features that you may not use as a first-time user. It gives you everything you can possibly want to get crystal clear, beautiful imagery without a lot of complication. It's also very affordable. With a starting price of $399, it's easy for most people to get into. If you were to ask me why I prefer the Mini over the other drones that I purchase, there's 2 things. First off, the weight. This little drone comes in under 250 grams. Why is that important? In a lot of countries and jurisdictions, if you have a drone that's less than 250 grams, you don't have to get a special license to fly it. This opens up all sorts of possibilities and eliminates lots of barriers, especially for content creators. If you were to ask me what my favorite feature is of the Mavic Mini, without a doubt, it's the long flight times. This little drone stays aloft so long, I've recorded it personally, in excess of 25 minutes. If you'd like to get your own Mavic Mini, click the link in my description to use my promo code to get 5% off when you buy the DJI Mavic Mini or the Mavic Mini Fly More combo. This hangar conjures up some very bad memories. It was a couple years ago. I was qualifying for my Sawyer, U.S. Forest Service Sawyer qualification for wildland firefighting. And the tree that I was tasked to cut down, and this is in front of an instructor, you know, U.S. Forest Service guy, you know, lots of experience with the clipboard and all of that to take you out to see what qualification you are, you know, how good you are, whether you be an A, B, or C faller. Man, he picked a big old nasty, about a 28-inch Doug fir with a bunch of limbs hanging on one side, a terrible lean in it, and asked me to land it right between 2 oaks. And he said, if you touch those oaks, it's a fail. You know, so apparently there was some sort of a protected tree. So I was a little nervous about that, right? And so rather than just go in and you know, not let it get in my head and do what I do, I messed up and of course fell that thing right in one of those, not to the oak, but it was next to a big fir next to it. I just missed it by inches and that big sucker hung up right there. I was so disappointed. I'm like, that's it. No certification for me this year. But I had to do a process. What most guys will do is called chunking. We're not going to do that today, but if you're a little more experienced, it's something you can do. It's basically, you make a slash cut in the top and on the bottom like that, and you cut it from the bottom, and you're basically just chunking off sections of the tree, about 3 or 4 foot at a time. And that'll eventually walk itself back to the where it's hanging, and sometimes it'll free itself. That just all that motion of it dropping that 3 and 4 feet will usually shake it loose. Actually, I'm going to show you that chunking process. There's an offset cut that's important that may not be clear unless I do it. The sequence of these cuts is very, very important. If you don't do it right, this thing will come down and it'll destroy your saw, your bar and chain, if nothing else. You want to do what they call an offset. So we'll start with the top, we'll put a slash cut, third, half, depending on the tree, doesn't really matter too much. Then we're going to come up from the bottom and we want to offset this about 1 inch or so. Why? Well, when this shears off, this portion here with all this weight and pressure is going to come, it's going to shear straight down, it's going to push this way towards your bar. If you cut up right here and match these cuts, it'll force that chainsaw down into the ground and anything could happen. It could even come back and get you. So we're going to offset this about 1 inch or so. So when this shears off, the saw is clearly up in here where the hinge wood breaks, protected, and you can easily pull it out. Now, a safer way to do this, determine which way you want to roll it, right? Because we're going to roll it away from ourselves. Look at the branches. You don't want to roll back to the trunk. You want to, obvious which way you want to go pretty much. But take your strap and don't go too tight, but just loop it back through itself here. And if we're going to roll this way, then we roll the strap the way we're going to roll, right? It should come around like this. Now, you can take your PV or a log or pretty much anything that you have there, and we're basically going to make a lever like this. See if I can get it at the bottom. Here, now we got a 4-foot bar, and we got a lever. Now just imagine this thing, or this loop set up here with a log in it, or a lodge pole, whatever you have around. Now be ready to get away from this thing, because it could go and this whole handle can flip, but it'll flip that way. We're on the safe side, right? So have your cat-like reflexes ready. But anyone should be able to just walk this around and rotate it out of the way without too much trouble until it walks off. You roll it about 180 degrees, and if it doesn't go, you're just gonna reposition your strap by just rotating this around so you can get another bite on it. Keep your head on a swivel. Always pay attention. Have someone watching for you. Don't do this by yourself. You might need someone to call for help, or who knows what, as I do it by myself, huh? And just like that. And that's a relatively small tree, but you'd be surprised how even a big tree, you can, actually big trees sometimes are easier because they've got so much weight in them that they'll typically just bust through those branches, just move it a little bit. If you can't move it, put a 10-footer on there, put a 15-footer on there, you know, get a couple guys on there, and goodness, you can move the world with a lever that length.
Papa.
Yes, my
I
love.
can pick the
What?
raspberries.
What is it?
And then I'm so scared of the chicken, so I need to pick the raspberries.
Oh, is that rooster preventing you from picking the raspberries?
I'm going to pick the raspberries.
You know, he senses fear. If you act afraid, then he will get you. But if you don't act afraid, he's pretty chill. Are you happy Papa's whiskers are coming back?
I said go with this day come back.
Do you like them?
Well, I have to.
Do you think they make Papa look handsome?
Go, Papa.
Yeah.
Can I pick the raspberries? This go-go.
Yes, you can pick raspberries with Go-Go.
What's
You have
he doing?
He's moving the van. All right, give me a kiss. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Don't eat all the raspberries, save me some.